Okay, so we only have a small amount of time on Earth left. Death isn't just a thing that happens like that. It's a thing that happens throughout your life. It's kind of like a progress bar. We all have these things that waste our time. Like the person who's addicted to weed, is obvious what his time waster is, right? But even Bill Gates probably has some sort of time wasters that he'd love to, get rid of. These time wasters aren't conducive to us getting a good body, making a lot of money, making a lasting impact on the people around us. But I'm Amon. I help people with mental and physical health reframes to improve their life and achieve their goals. So here's today's mental reframe. So the first thing, it's the goal. So basically just visualize, right? We've forgotten how it would feel to actually achieve our goals. So if we don't have that feeling and that kind of understanding that we have a goal to actually reach and right here, we're here. If we start forgetting that, then slowly the feeling of actually achieving that goal, it starts to go down and down up until to the point where it's exactly the same as where you are right now. And if it's exactly the same as where you are right now, then why change, right? That basically removes our need to work hard to actually work towards our goals. So a way to combat this would be like watch content around what you want to be. That's what I used to do when I wanted to lose weight. I used to watch bodybuilders, fitness content, and eventually I started thinking a little bit more like them. And when you start actually thinking about things in this way and make the end goal a little bit more desirable or more desirable than it was, then you start to identify these time wastes. You start to just cut it out. You start to focus on the things that actually matter. So like, let's say you want to be a CEO of a company, right? That's your goal. So just watch content around that. Watch Alex Hormozi, watch these business podcasts, people like the Knowledge Project, people like that, right?
Probably listen to the Knowledge Project if there is a new episode that is interesting.
So it's not just about the inputs that we put into life and the numbers, the data. It's also about the output, right? So we're doing all of this on the input, right? We're focusing on this and that's good, right? But if we forget about the output, then why are we even doing these inputs? What are we doing it for? How is it going to get towards the output, right? Basically, when you start focusing only on the inputs and have no idea or remember what the output should be, then you basically fall off and get into a rut. Because we've been working so hard, but for what? Like what goal is it for? We forgot the goal. That's why it's really good to remind yourself of your goals and how it would feel like every single morning. The second part to this would be to actually make it a goal to simplify. So just like in math class, right? I mean, if you don't like this analogy, then that's tough. Just get better at math, I guess. But it's just like in math class where when we do these large equations, right? We rationalize them, we simplify them to get like a proper answer. We sometimes expand them. And then after we expand them, then we can simplify it down to actually get the proper answer. So maybe we have to make it more complicated, then we can simplify. And that's what's needed to make the equation actually work. But in life, there's a lot of moving parts to our goals. So let's say one of your goals would be to lose weight and get abs. So there's two main things that you have to do. Eat clean and healthy and also work out. But then under those, you have a lot of moving parts. So eating clean and healthy, what does that mean? That means eating ingredients, nothing really processed, cutting out your sugar, eating less compared to what you actually burn, increasing the amount of protein, changing the times when you eat, and also sixth, but intermittent fasting. Those are some of the things that would fall under eating clean and healthy. But then the second part would be working out. It's like weightlifting, yoga, cardio, long walks, right? And then also another part of working out would be like optimizing for your goals and rearranging these things to make it possible to consistently work out every single day. So there's basically only two moving parts to actually losing weight and getting abs, but there's a lot of parts underneath that you need to kind of optimize and get almost 100% right for your life, because obviously it's not going to be 100% there always. You're always striving for that, but getting 80% of the way there, that's probably like the biggest part that you can do, and you can do that pretty quick. And then after that, you slowly improve, and then those small improvements will start making you compound, but you need to actually get to level 1 before you can get to level 100 first. So another way I like to explain this is building and simplifying phases. So let's say it was building phase, right? That's when you're learning about something, you're trying to get into something. So a building phase, let's just say like we're adding a whole lot of stuff into whatever we're trying to do. We're testing what works for us, what doesn't work for us, if we like it or if we don't like it, and why we actually like doing those things and why we don't. And then after the building phase, we'll have a simplifying phase where, just like in calculus, where you might have to find the derivative of some sort of equation, right? Let's say you do the limit definition of a derivative, then you have to like put a lot of things into equations. You have to figure what it would be. You have to put it back into the original equation. I mean, hopefully I didn't lose you for that analogy there, but in the time it just takes to maybe do a 2-hour long walk, right? That would be pretty beneficial for losing weight, but for some people, they could probably do a lot more work in that period of time. Maybe it's just not like worth it for them because they couldn't bring themselves to actually do that every single day. But then for me, it just wouldn't fit in my schedule, right? Because I get back home and then like trying to eat all that, right? Because I did intermittent fasting, fast up until 4 p.m. and then stop eating at 7 p.m. I have to eat, basically spend like the whole day when I come back from school just eating, because there's like so much stuff to actually eat to get the protein, to get my calories in, and I barely hit the calorie goal. So it just wasn't really feasible for me. And I also wanted to build muscle. That was a bigger goal for me. So doing 2 hour long walk would not make sense for me at that point. So that's part of the simplifying phase. I understand, what do I want, what do I not want, and then I just remove the parts that actually don't help me, and then from there I can actually have a more effective use of my time. So I basically just carved out an hour in the morning to actually work out before school, before any work that I have to do, right? So it's pretty useful for me, because at that point there's nothing to do at 5 a.m. in the morning, only the gym, right? No one's trying to call me, no one's trying to like get a hold of me. I don't have any work to do, nothing. It's just gym, right? If I try to do it as soon as I came back from school, maybe like, oh, one day I might have to like homework, one day I might have to, just get really early to the gym because it's going to be busy. Just so many excuses and things that just wouldn't align with my schedule. For some people, it makes no sense to do it in the morning and a lot of sense to do it right after school. But then for me, it just didn't work. So that's just what I do. And this is part of the simplification process. So the simplification process can also consist of a lot of things to cut out, right? So like drugs, people, bad habits, behavior, these workflows, you can cut certain workflows out, make your workflow a little bit better. And you've just got to cut these things out if they don't actually, get you towards your goals effectively. And if you're coping and making these excuses as to why you actually need the bad habit for your life, then at that point you know that you really actually need to cut it out. Because just know someone else in the game will beat you because they decided to cut it out earlier than you. So that means they're going to take your stuff. Like, let's say you were destined to become a millionaire and you didn't cut out the bad habit right now. Someone else cut out the bad habit right now, and they're going to have 2-3 months to actually, have that time compound and to start making money, to start developing themselves. But you didn't cut out that bad habit. By the time you cut it out, they probably might already be the millionaire, right? And you'll be playing catch up, right? So they'll basically take whatever is yours. And that's why you got to cut out these bad habits as soon as possible. You have to really, really be keen on it, right? And, just realize the output, right? Is what the work that you're doing is actually worth it, right? If not, if you can't be forced to just quit a small bad habit of just eating junk food every Sunday for this output end goal you want, right? Then maybe the end goal isn't far enough out of your reach. If I eat a little bit of junk food every Sunday, then I'll still get there, right? You want to make that end goal really kind of outrageous. And let's say your end goal would be 10% body fat and having 200 pounds of, mainly muscle, right? That's kind of a little bit more of an unattainable goal compared to just being healthy, right? So obviously you're gonna have to give up a lot more to achieve that goal. And once it's gonna be easy to achieve it when you give up all these bad habits and all these little things. Simplification phase, you need to cut that out just to get to the goal here. So basically, if we simplify, we take the bottom part that's dragging us down, we basically push that away and we're able to get towards our goals much easier. So thus we basically just avoid things that would detract away from our focus and away from our goals. So here's an analogy, right? Imagine tug of war. There's team A and team B. These two teams are competing and you're basically just in the middle. So team A, that's your distractions, right? But team B, that's your goals. You want to get to this side. The first part of this video was about increasing the amount of desire or drive that you have to actually achieve the goal. So that would be part B, team B. Those are the amount of people. Let's say the amount of people here is how much drive you have to achieve your goals. The second part, which is team A, is about your distractions. It was about dropping as many distractions as possible so you can be as light as possible on this side so you can just get pulled towards your goals basically. So most people today, they have bad food in their diet. They have these somewhat attainable goals, which is why they don't really work hard for it. A lot of distractions, they always have the notifications on. They have the ringer on always. I mean, I still have a lot of distractions, and it's still a lot less though compared to what a normal person might have. I've had Grayscale on since February of 2023. And I've only turned it off if I actually need to do, Photoshop work. And then also people have that sort of drive or, desire for goals. Most people, I think there was a study, 50% of people from high school think that they're going to become a millionaire, realistically in, 10 or 20 years. But obviously not many of them become millionaires. So people have that sort of drive, they have that sort of goal. However, the amount of people on team A that weigh them down, it outweighs a lot of the people on team B. So the desire isn't there, and on top of that, they have distractions. But what we're trying to do, we're trying to increase the desire and just decrease the amount of distractions. So we're gonna do that to the point where you have no distractions, but you have a gigantic goal. So the only thing that you really can be doing is doing work towards getting that. They have like 100 people on team B trying to pull them towards their goal, but 101 people on team A. So they don't really see that, right? They don't really see that there's like an imbalance there, but slowly their life is trending downward. It's just by a slight amount. But as soon as you start dropping these behaviors, then team B starts to win. You start to actually achieve your goals to the point where you drop everyone on team A and team B starts going. If you like this video, I think you probably will like my video on how to actually focus, right? Hopefully some of the things in this video were actually helpful to you, but I think that video would help you a lot because obviously focus is needed for productivity. So this is about actually making the desire a little bit bigger and the distractions a little bit lower. But then once you actually have focus, then you can do a lot more work in a lot less time. So yeah, that video basically just boils down focus into one very simple concept, right? Similar to this, where I simplified desire and where I simplified the way that you could actually get towards your goals into desire and how much actually bad habits you have. So if you nail that idea and start implementing everything from this video and also that video, and you just start doing that, right, then it's going to be a lot better because it'll change your productivity forever. You're going to be so much more focused, right? An example, everyone in my class was struggling to get their essay on time for English, right? And I completed it a whole week before they did. Their final projects, again, they were struggling. They had, a lot of them asked for extensions. I completed it in 2 hours, the whole assignment, or the whole final actually. So if you want to have focus like that, if not for focus, if not for school, then at least for your goals, and then watch that video. It'll be somewhere here on screen or in the description. So click on that video, watch that video. I'll see you there. And remember, this is what hard feels like.